Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the Elgato 4k60 S Plus. At roughly $400 US, this capture device is literally an HEVC encoder in a box that you can take anywhere with you, capture, as noted, 4K 60 HDR content, as well as 1080p at 60 frames per second and 720p at 60 frames per second, and do so without a PC because it can write directly to an SD card. Of course, you can use it in tandem with a computer as well. No tone mapping, you should know that in advance. And while this seems like it's designed specifically for professional gamers that travel and want to have the ability to capture content in its highest possible quality, again, sans tone mapping, I think it's really interesting for an even broader market because you can use this as a capture device, as I will be, or I plan to, for my cameras as well. So pretty versatile, and again, an HEVC encoder in a box for $400 seems like a bargain. Do keep in mind that those of you that are thinking, well, this is going to permit me to capture 4K content from a console or a PC, and it'll take the load off of the computer, which generally would have to be fairly beefy, right? To capture this, you would need one of Elgato's 4K internal capture cards. Remember that because this is getting captured in, or by rather, an HEVC encoder, that is the most advanced and efficient form of video content out there right now. It is also the most intensive to edit, so do not fall into a rut. It's not a trap because Elgato isn't trying to fool you, but don't think that, well, now I don't need a computer that's powerful enough to capture 4K content because I've got this external box. Because at the end of the day, if you want to edit anything from this, again, HEVC is the most intensive to edit. So just bear that in mind. Not a trap, but knowledge you must have. So whether you're capturing from a console or from a PC, this is really, in my opinion, one of the most versatile if those three resolutions I mentioned before are what you're after. You know, if you're gaming in 1440p, that's not going to happen with this. Again, 4K 60, 1080 60, and of course 720p at 60 frames per second. Front of the device has audio in, a physical record button, and an SD card slot. This is already impressive stuff because we don't have anything like this available in the marketplace. Back, we've got two Type-C ports. One is for power delivery. The other one is, of course, for connecting to a computer, and then HDMI input and output. Let's get it out of the box. Again, I just see this as being, you know, I could have gone with a 4K capture card from Elgato. It would have been $250, but it would not have given me the versatility that this device does. And besides using this with, for example, a camera for capturing and getting, you know, on the fly HEVC encoding, which for me, editing isn't going to be simple either. It won't be for anyone. I mean, you need a beefy system to handle that. The end product, though, is that you can also use this during this pandemic for, you know, obviously converting any camera of yours into a webcam. And yes, the Camlink 4 is there, but try finding it, and at 120 or 130 US, this, you know, that is a one-dimensional product compared to this. So user guide, quick start guide, and I'll get deeper into this as I use the product. Again, this is an unboxing and, you know, just mostly informational. Fairly small, compact, Elgato branding, nothing wrong with that. By the way, if you're not familiar, of course, Elgato is now owned by Corsair, and they just generally make great stuff. I mean, I've never got an Elgato product that didn't meet my expectations. Now, I'm not expecting this to be perfect, but I am expecting it to do exactly, well, what I'm expecting, which is permit me to stream for a gaming channel, which I've always wanted to do. For those of you that follow me know I've always been a gamer, have a pretty solid gaming system ready to go, but this is going to let me also capture, you know, from my Xbox, my PlayStation, anything, and then, as I keep mentioning, from cameras, and just have an HEVC encoder in a box, which if I was buying this just from a video standpoint, good luck trying to find something like this for $400. So I think Elgato's created a great product, certainly not for everyone. If you're not looking to actually do what I'm looking to, or you don't even need the actual 4K capture, look at their lower end stuff, external or internal. You'll save a lot of money. You can play in 4K and of course downsample and capture at 1080p. They have plenty of devices that do that. So we've got, as I mentioned, Type A to Type C, Type A to Type C, and that's because, as I already stated, one is power delivery, the other is for connecting to a PC. And then they give you one HDMI 2.0 cable. You do need HDMI 2.0 for 4K 60 frame per second HDR content. Please make sure you have that. And they're assuming you already do, and that's why they're only giving you one to basically handle this little encoding box. Another thing you should know is that while the SD card slot is a fantastic option for direct recording, again, no PC necessary, very cool, it doesn't really have any means of communication. So when you connect this to a PC, do not expect to be able to read content off of this. I would love for that to be a possibility. If Elgato can make that happen on the software, firmware side, let's do it, because it just makes perfect sense. Again, it just makes this a more flexible device that I think it opens up the market. So yes, this seems like a great solution for pro gamers that travel, tournaments, but it also seems great for somebody that games in 4K, wants to capture in 4K, but then also, like me, is always filming in 4K and just wants something that, if I'm on the road and, for example, you know, I have my Ultrabook, I'm not going to be on the road during a pandemic. I've been in quarantine for several months now, and hopefully you out there are also. It's the only way that we're really going to fight this until there is a vaccine. The idea is fairly simple. I could capture content directly onto this without, you know, a big rig and or a dedicated capture device designed for cameras, and I've got my content. Again, not incredibly easy. It is very intensive to edit HEVC, but possible. And it can default down to 264 as opposed to 265. So that's another thing it has in its favor. But again, no tone mapping. That seems to be the biggest gripe that from everything I've seen. And also there is a delay of, I think they said 200 milliseconds on audio that you have to sync up. Streaming with this, so I'll get into that as I get into it, but that's pretty much it. This was just an unboxing, a first look. I said it would be quick. For me, 8 minutes, which we're just about to hit, is a quick video. So I'm excited to get this to use, excited to start streaming, and just this overall, again, seems like a solid value at $400, which may sound nuts, but if you understand what this really is, then you know it's a value, even if it's not a perfect product. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button, and as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Stay safe. Later.